You know that if my cat has more buying power than your child, my cat gets the tuna. Now get out of the way. That's the reality. That's the free market. We believe in the free market, but we're also caring people. And according to our faith, we care about our neighbors. And we temper the free market with a government that represents our values. That's the struggle that we have today. And I've learned in my travels that even if you're motivated only by greed, if all you care is what's good for your family, your family's financial well-being, security, you don't want to be filthy rich in a desperately poor world. It's not a pretty picture. We're heading that way. Thank God for organizations like this that can speak out for values that are caring, that are in line with that love your neighbor credo that people of faith embrace. When I'm in London, I always hear, mind the gap. Mind the gap before you get on the tube. Well, I think we need to start saying mind the gap here, because we've got a gap. And Faith Action Network minds the gap. They're going to weave us together as unbridled capitalism can rip us apart. When I return from a trip, I'm so thankful for my trip, in one reason, because I come home and I appreciate what we've got. We are so richly blessed here to call the United States our home, to call Washington State our home. When you think of our nature, our affluence, our stability, our democracy, this beautiful communion, when you think about good governance, we have a lot to be thankful for. And it's more than just being thankful for it. As responsible citizens, I think it's a matter of stewardship. Don't just be thankful for it, be stewards of it. We owe it to our community, to our democracy, to our children to be good stewards of our blessings. We are learning that our democracy is fragile. We've got to be stewards of our democracy. Some of you have seen my TV show on fascism. I've got it right here, pulling it out. I've got a show called The Story of Fascism in Europe, and I'm sort of into that right now. You can watch it on public television, or you can just go to my website and watch it. It's a 1-hour look at what happened to Europe in the 1920s and 30s. It lets you draw the conclusions. But you look at that, and you can see that wannabe autocrats, whether they're far left or far right, can derail a democracy. And you can wake up and find yourself in a totalitarian society. It's frighteningly incremental. It's based on fear. It's based on greed. It's powered by a charismatic, bombastic leader who knows how to tell lies so repeatedly and so convincingly that his base will believe them and march into war for them. And then you get afraid and you get armed up and ready to go, and you've got all the bad guys coming in from all corners, and then you've got your burned Reichstag building, you've got your failed coup, or you've got your 9/11, and the next morning, you've no longer got your democracy. You've got yourself a totalitarian government. It's fragile. It could happen here. And we're active right now to protect our democracy. A lot of people don't get it. We get it. We have a responsibility. I've been frustrated lately and disappointed by who we are as a nation. The reality is, a good part of our nation is fearful, angry nationalism, wanting to build walls to keep out the other 96% of humanity. We got to play ball with this world. It's a wonderful family of nations. It's filled with love and joy and beautiful diversity, but there's a lot of fear. The most frightened people in our society are the people buried deep in the middle of it with no passports. Think of what it's like if your whole worldview is shaped by angry, fear-mongering commercial TV news. That's a sorry thing. We're dealing with that. Just to have the diversity here lets us realize that this world is a festival, and we need to get out and get to know it. I think if we wanted to make our country greater than we could ever imagine, we would unleash the values in this room. We would turn the power of this great nation into these values. This is who we are. We care, we give, we can change the world, but we need to advocate. That's why I'm here for Faith Action Network. Advocacy. A lot of people have a picture of a poor kid on their mantle and they paid $10 a month and they've adopted that kid. That's compassion for beginners. It's okay, it's a lot better than what most people are doing. But in this room, we understand advocacy. Advocacy is giving voice to the downtrodden. Advocacy is recognizing it's okay to get political with your faith values. I love it. Faith Action Network. Think of those 3 words. Faith. We here are motivated by our faith. And I'm so glad this is interfaith. We're all children of God. It is a beautiful thing to recognize. All equally precious. We're going to take action. Tonight we're taking action. It takes money to take action. We're empowering Faith Action Network to be taking action for us. We are a network. We're together. We're a community. Faith Action Network. So tonight we're about empowering Faith Action Network. I've earned my reputation with budget tips for travelers, okay? Let me share a couple of budget tips. First of all, if you want to get the most bang for your philanthropic buck, whether it's $50 or $5,000, advocacy will earn, I would bet, 50 times the joy and the love and the compassion that direct charity will work. We know that we are leveraging our faith, we're making a difference because we're empowering advocacy. There's a political challenge right now. There's a lot of money behind greed and fear and hatred, frankly. And it's sold. There's a lot of vested interests in that, and it's quite expensive to con Americans into voting for that. It can be done, but it takes a lot of money. We're on the side of love, compassion, and truth. It takes money to propel those ideas into the halls of Congress, but it's a much easier sell. It's a much better value if you're going to support something. Faith Action Network is so efficient. I don't know if you realize it, but their budget is $400,000 a year. $400,000. Every time I have lunch with Paul and Elise, I'm blown away by what they accomplish. This is a mighty might, and we're empowering it. And today, we're going to help them mobilize 7,000 advocates across this state, 145 faith communities. And I'm so thankful to have an opportunity to challenge you to dig deep. This room is filled with people who have chosen careers that are not designed to make you wealthy. I recognize that. And $100 for some people is the same as what I'm going to be giving for me tonight. But I'm telling you, I am so excited to be able to challenge all of you. And I'm thankful to be able to do it because you guys read my books and watch my TV shows and so on. So, I mean, it's not that generous. But I'm going to match up to $50,000 tonight, okay? So, this is by far the most expensive dinner of my entire year. And it's a good dinner, and it's the best dinner of my entire year. And I would just challenge you to think of how we can empower Faith Action Network. Considering what's going on in Washington, D.C., I'm more proud than ever of what's going on in Washington State. Here in this state, we know the value of environment. The environment, that's the sanctity of life to me as much as anything. Our environment. blessed with a beautiful environment. Our community, the diversity in our community, racial justice, economic justice, these are issues that Pramila was just talking about, that Faith Action Network has got a whole list of triumphs. These are the issues that collectively we're sticking up for in Olympia. We've got good people in Olympia, but they need to be encouraged. A good congressperson, a good legislator, does not necessarily understand what we want. We need to turn up the volume. And Faith Action Network is there. They are there. They're not a charity. Think of it as a service. You and I have a wish for our community, and we're not going to get it unless we advocate for it. And effectively, we are hiring and empowering lobbyists from Faith Action Network to get in there and make it happen. Faith Action Networks takes our values to Olympia and gets results. There are a lot of prayers from a lot of struggling people across our state tonight. Think of it just for a moment. Think of this in every different dimension of issues. There are prayers, there are needs. Tonight, we're going to answer prayers. This is how prayers are answered. We're going to do it. So thank you very much for recognizing the value of Faith Action Network, and thank you for digging deep. And let's make this night a huge success and inspiration for our friends at Faith Action Network. Thank you very much. Thank you.